we're going to do a fun, funky little still life with funky little flowers. Not realistic, just fun, and we're going to play. And that's the best part. And this does not have to be perfect. Let's make a funky little pot. Let's see, I'm going to put a funky flower here. And you want some of your flowers to overlap, and you want your stems to be nice and wiggly. Do one there, and try not to make them all the same shape or size. The fun part about this is we're going to fill them in with patterns and colors. And this is just a guide. So here's the thing, do not overthink this. This is part of the problem. I tend to overthink. Okay, so now all I'm going to do is I'm going to get my Faber-Castell Pitt Pen, and that's a 0.5, and I'm going to draw everything that's over top of everything else first. So let's start with the flowers, and they do not have to be, see how now that I'm loosened up some, I'm not making them that perfect shape. Don't worry if it's crooked. And I just want to draw to show you that it doesn't have to be pretty, it doesn't have to be perfect, we're having fun. Okay, so now we're just going to get an eraser. I let that dry first. So before we move on, we're going to make some patterns, just random fun patterns. Like, again, don't have to be perfect, and they don't have to even be all the same width. In fact, the wonkier they are, the better it'll look. So there, I just kind of made it a little wonkier looking. With our vase, I think we're going to do great big polka dots with a bullseye in them. Don't worry about it becoming busy. That's the whole purpose of this. And don't worry if when we paint some of this covers up, we can go back over it after. I'm just going to go off each little, I'm just going to color that in black, make a circle, and then let's make little circles at the end of these. You can tell I like circles. The leaves, let's make a striped leaf. Okay, and we don't want to draw attention to this one too much, so we might just put some little black dots on it and make it a darker. Let's do all of these small parts joining, something like that. Do this. Let's do some squiggles. And if you find it hard to come up with ideas, steal some of mine. It's okay. So let's just go like this. So what do we need? Let's do a striped center. I got all the centers. So now we just need something we got that. I want something really small here. Let's put smaller polka dots. Doesn't have to look pretty. I'm not sure about this one yet. Let's just leave that. We'll plan something after. So now we're just simply going to start painting, and I think I'll paint my background and the table first because they're the two things that are kind of behind. So this is going to be the background, and I don't care if it's not smooth. I'm just kind of going with the flow. I want it to almost have some texture. That's why I'm using the Kuretake paints. And you can see, don't worry about going over the lines. I mean, I got shaky hands some days, so it's almost impossible for me not to hit over those lines. We will go back over the lines with some ink when we're done. And if you have a fine area, just go to the very tip of your brush to get into the fine spots. Don't press hard on your brush. I love the Kuretake for mixed media in my journals. Now I'll probably get some warping because this is a cheaper journal, but I'm still playing with it and trying it to see what's going to work in it. But if you want to watch my testing of this journal, I'll put the link in the description because for $1.63, I think it was, at Jackson's, yeah, you can't, in this day and age with everything costing so much, you can't go wrong. We're going to get a nice color for some of my stripes. So see how opaque that looks? That's because that lighter blue is mixed with white and it makes it more opaque, which they can be used really thinned out like watercolor, or they can be used very thick and opaque. And I'm not worrying about bold, bright colors. I'm just going with what I think I would like at the time. And you know what? This is just the best part about this is it's nothing precious. It's in my sketchbook. It's all experimentation. So if you notice, once I get that, if I push my brush down, more paint comes out. So you don't have to paint everything with the tip. Okay, I'm liking those. And let's put maybe this dot, that color. Maybe we'll mimic the stripes here. Actually, I'll put this one too because it's not real bright. All right, so do you see what we're doing? I'm starting to take some of my colors and I'm moving them around. I think that's getting pretty dry. And if you notice, I'm just kind of mixing things together until I want a light color because that will make everything kind of harmonious. Again, just using the tip of my brush to get those small spaces. Let's do this here and there. In fact, let's do all the leaves with this color and something else. And I am going to grab a smaller brush for this. Maybe we'll do the polka dots on this one yellow. Maybe we'll do these yellow. And I'm just kind of putting it in there. I'm not trying to be perfect. I do want that little center. Okay, let's do the yellow. And again, you can use whatever color you want. I'm just kind of going with it as I go. And I kind of like how it overlaps and makes kind of a green too. And if you notice, I'm starting with the tip and then I'm pressing, which releases that paint and makes it easy to go right down. Okay, actually I'm kind of liking that. So see, I'm just painting with the tip of my brush. And you can practice this on a sheet of paper, draw some circles. Try to keep the tip where you can see it though, because see how I just went over that? Because I was dragging and I couldn't see where it was going. And we could just make it even a little more variegated there. That makes it a little more interesting. Maybe a center. Now be aware, if some of this dries thick, you're going to get sort of a shiny look. So you could even just come lift some of that back if you didn't want it to be shiny. Oh, that's a nice bright red. Oh, maybe we'll do some of this, something like that. The polka dots. Oh, let's do the center. Okay, so I'm just touching these polka dots because they are small. I could have probably drew them a little bigger. Let's do that center with the yellow polka dots. Let's do that red. Let's take some of that paint off our brush. Again, I'm just using the tip. We're going to give him a little bit of red. Let's do this fella orange. And you could even do this and just paint the flowers and everything and then use a Posca pen to go over them, anything. You can use whatever you have. This is basically just an idea for something to do when you feel like you just need some creativity but you really don't know what to do. That's the nice thing about just playing. And that's how you come up with ideas too and grow. Let's do the orange stripes on this. So we still have to figure out what to do with that little fella. I think we're going to make him more yellow. Maybe we'll do this one too, that yellow. That's pretty. Remember, don't worry. Oh, and my little dots are still wet. Kind of makes it interesting, actually. There's this purple too is pretty. Let's try that with the orange. I know, weird combination. Let's do that blue and see how that blue works. And I'm just going to pull down what's left there. Let's make this blue too. And we still haven't decided what color we're doing the polka dots on the purple vase. I mean, I've got a pretty good idea. Let's do those polka dots. And the messier it is, the more I like it. We haven't done the leaves. So let's just make those opposite colors yellow. Now that's one busy fun flower. The only thing I think I don't like how dark the background is. This, I think it should have been lighter. And I mean, there's an easy fix for that. I'm gonna dry this. All right, some of it's still a little wet, but that's okay. We're going to lighten that background up. Okay, so I'm just going to, and I'm not too worried about out here. It's more when we get in by the flowers. Lighten this up, and then we will add our final details and be done. This also gives it a little bit of texture too. And it's really kind of more in the middle and down by the main flowers that I want it to be lighter. And you could have done this with a Neocolor, a pencil crayon, anything. You don't have to have paints to do this. You could do this exercise with any art supply you have. It's just fun. And that's what art should be about, is having fun, especially if you're using it to unwind and relax and just as a hobby. That looks better already, just not having it so solid. And I think I'm going to darken down these so these pop more. So do you see by doing that, this draws attention? These were fighting with it. Grab a little bit of straight red, and I'm just going to touch up a few of the areas that I want to be a little bit brighter. So I'm not covering all of it. I'm just kind of going around and adding a little bit of texture. The first thing we're going to do is go back over our lines so we can redefine, and don't worry if it's not perfect. All I'm doing is just kind of going back over anything that looks like it has dulled down, which that's because we're using paint that's not transparent. In fact, I like the double squigglies. I think it actually adds something to the drawing, gives it a little bit more character. And you know what? You could just put some black polka dots on this, or spots. Could be the leopard flower. Now this is over top, so we want to make sure that stays. And then we go. Do you see how it kind of brings it back up once you reinforce your lines? Oh yeah, that's looking much better. Yeah, this is really how you can really tell that these Kuretake Gansai Tambi paints aren't transparent, because when they go over the black line, it actually obscures them. This one really needs some help. And you can make this as big as you want. You can add other elements. I'm gonna just put a black line right in between. Here's the problem. Once I start doing this, I can't stop. I just want to keep going because I'm doing something creative and it makes me feel good. Now, if you have colored pencils or Posca pens or Martin's Bleed Proof White, anything that's extremely white, I don't know if I have a Posca pen that works or not. Oh, maybe a little. So you could, like, say if you wanted to do dots. You know me and my dots. So you could do dots like that. You could put a ring around something. You could make the center white. You could highlight this. So you see my Posca pen's kind of drying out, so there's not a whole lot left in it. But you can use anything. Acrylic markers. This is a fluorescent one. This will work. You could come in and go like this. See this really, now that really draws attention. So maybe I would color these ones. And you can add anything over top of these Kuretake Gansai Tambi paints. So I'm going to come in here and I want this to be dark right here. And I just mix some of the red and the black, because I want some contrast. And maybe some of these flowers you need a little more contrast too. We'll see. Get over here, I'm going to leave it a little more lighter. Okay. You could even take this and you could make these little middle parts darker like that. I think it would be nice to have a little lighter of this, maybe up at the top, which actually turns out to be close to the background. And after that's dry, I'm gonna put some pen on top of that. And you don't have to leave all of these parts colored if you don't want to. You can even make some of them black. Like where I goofed this up, I'm gonna go back over that. And the same with this. I'm just gonna color that in black. And there we go. We could even color this in black here, like if we find there's too much red, or we could have painted over top of it as well. I'm just trying to get some texture. Same with leaves. Maybe we want this yellow to be black. We can make a little of the yellow show, or you can make it solid black. It's all up to you. I'm gonna just go back over this again. There, I'm gonna make this solid though. Oh, here I want. Okay, so here's one thing you're gonna run into too. With the Kuretake Gansai Tambi, if you put it on too thick, you can see where that's shiny and it's actually fighting my pen and ink. It's probably gonna coat my pen. You have to be careful. So don't press hard. Just kind of hold it up a little. That I would have liked to have had a different color. Let's take the tape off. So this tape is the expensive tape that's made by Scotch. Here's the Scotch tape that I used. It's Low-Tack artist tape. I'm not even sure if they still make it. I've had this for years, but I just finally used it up.
If you're having one of those days where even drawing wonky flowers feels like too much work, I have a zero pressure narrow graphic process that takes almost no energy. Try this next.